we've discovered 5 new 2-player games. That's 5 for 2.
Welcome to BoxedMeeples, I'm Julian and this is Libby, and sometimes you don't want to play with too many people, you just want to get your loved one, sit at a table and just play a game together. And we've often trumpeted the joys of playing 2-player board games that are specifically for 2 people, not games that have many people that can be played by 2. These are 2-player only games, and we found 5 new ones that we want to share with you.
We have indeed. So first up is Solstis. Now this is a small little box, 2-player game, and we've been playing it both with and without the Firefly expansions. Nice little, just a few little extra tiles there, but essentially there are a lot of different tiles in this box.
There are.
And they make up basically one big painting, except for there's 2 of you playing. So you're never going to get all the tiles because the other person's got half of the painting.
Yeah.
And what makes it interesting is you are going to have some of these tiles in your hand, but in order to play them out into your painting, you're going to have to find one in the sort of river of available tiles that matches in some way in terms of the row that it goes in or the column that it's meant to go in, so that you can start putting your painting together. Because you're going to be scoring. A lot of your scoring is whether you can get from the bottom to the top where these fires or flags at the top of the mountains are. And you need to find a whole route to get to those tiles up at the top there. So you're going to be wanting to take those tiles when you see them for starters, because without them, you can't score. But also getting that route back down to the bottom, sort of all connected, which is where the rainbow cards and things can help you out. But you really need to be keeping an eye on what else your opponent's managing to draft.
What I really like is when you get those 4 cards together and then you get to pick up an animal to place in the middle, and that's going to either give you an immediate benefit or some end game scoring. So yeah, while you're trying to work out your route to the top to light up those flags, sometimes you might see an opportunity to get nice animal opportunity. And if you can chain those together and get multiple animals, you get a glaring look from your opponent when you do manage to get that combo.
Yes, but there's some nice interesting decisions. It's very quick, it's very coffee table, sort of a travel easy game.
Yeah.
Not thinking much, just cup of tea, quick game kind of vibe, which is quite fun. And I think you can play it solo as well. So but this is all about 2 players.
Do you remember at the UK Games Expo, I got all excited and I said, there's a great game that Hachette brought to UK from Scorpion Masque. This one, it's tag team.
Yes, you were very excited about this.
Now this year seems to have been a kind of year of celebrating one-on-one fighters from retro games of the past. We've seen lots of different combinations of those already this year. This though is kind of the most exciting and the most immediate of it. Basically, you choose 2 characters, and the combination of characters is kind of the key part, the key first decision that you're going to make, because each of those characters has a different skill. They might be very defensive. That will help another character build up their power meter quicker. Or they might be quite tricksy, that are slow to burn, but once they get strong and powerful enough, they can do some mega hits. You'll need someone to support them. So choosing that combination of 2 characters is really, really important. But it starts off quite slow. Basically, you play 2 cards. But that's where the interesting part comes in, because then after you've all played out that turn, you play 2 cards, you get to draw 3 cards from your combined deck of these 2 characters and add 1 card to your hand without changing the order. So you've got to work out, okay, what's my opponent doing? When are they going to attack? Because then I can place in a defensive card when I think that's going to do that. When are they going to need to chain up a combination of things? How do I interrupt that? Or more importantly, how do I create a combination of cards to play in turn to maximize a big hit, say, or a big special ability that a character has? So it quickly ramps up, goes from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. But that does mean each game takes sort of 15, 20 minutes to play.
Yeah, quite short.
And if your combination of characters isn't working, well, that's okay, because next time you play, you can have a different combo of characters.
Yeah, there's quite a few in the box for you to choose from and sort of mix and mash together, which is great.
Yeah, I think this has certainly got more legs to it. Even the trailers I've seen for the game, and even a promotion in the game box itself suggests there's more characters coming. And obviously more character combinations means more variety when you're playing, and more decision making about those combinations of cards and how they work together. I find it really exciting to play, especially when you get to know those characters and know their strengths and how you need to support them.
It's exciting when you know that some of their best cards have come up and you've gotten to add it to your deck, and you know like what that might help you achieve. That's a fun feeling.
And that decision about drawing 3 cards, which do I keep? Where do I put it? Such a simple mechanism, so easy to explain, but does so much in this game.
We've been going back to the 20s in Gatsby, a 2-player game, a Bruno Cathala game. So we were very interested in the theme and to see how this one plays. And it's probably slightly different to how I imagined.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how Gatsby we are.
It's really
it's quite a light dosing of theme on a fun little puzzly game.
Yeah, I know very little about Gatsby, but I do know that these 2 characters are not in Gatsby. So it's very much Gatsby in name and look only.
Yeah, but you basically got 3 areas of a puzzle. So you've got one area which is like the cocktail bar, and you're going to be trying to get your tokens from one side to another side in order to pick up a character card. You've also got a section which is like the business section. You'll basically be kind of racing to climb up a ladder to get up to different points. Again, as you get to different points, you're going to be able to pick up characters. Whoever gets there first gets to pick up the character. And there's lots of other special actions along the way. And on the other section there, you go into the races.
Yes,
horse races. And that's sort of an area majority. Whoever gets the most in each of the sections wins that race essentially. And again, picks up a character. And depending on whether you have 3 characters of the same sort of colour or symbol, or whether you have one of like 5 different types of them, will depend on who's the winner. But what makes this a little bit more interesting is some of the little touches. Like obviously you're going to have options to be able to mess with your opponent. You're going to be able to move their tokens around and switcheroo. You're going to be able to have a look at the characters in secret. Some of them are face down blind, some of them are face up. You're going to be able to pick some of them, check them out, decide if you want to switch them around or not. So if someone's already looked at them and is definitely vying for that one, it's got a nice number of stars on it, it's the colour they want maybe. You're going to be able to mess with their plans that way. You're going to be able to force them to take an action they might not want to take, particularly towards the end of the game. If there's no horse racing really to be done and you can force someone to do the horse racing, that can be particularly annoying. I found that out to my detriment. And there are some fun little touches, like as you're going up the sort of business route, the ladder climbing route, if you're ahead of your opponent, then the person who is behind is going to get to climb 2 spaces. So you've got to be really careful when you climb, how and when you climb, to not then give them the advantage. And the same with the horse races. There's going to be so many spaces with advantages on there that you've got to be careful not to fill up the space to then just let them swoop in and take all these extra bonuses. So there's some fun little decisions. It's a very short game, but I wouldn't say it was particularly Gatsby. But if you like that sort of puzzly kind of thing, then you might enjoy it.
Board game boxes can lie sometimes. This one says 2 to 4 players. It's not a 4-player game. This is a 2-player only game. It feels like that is on the box to try to sell it to more people, but what a fantastic 2-player game this is. I dare say one of my favourite 2-player games at the moment, if not one of my favourite games I've been playing at the moment. Obviously, Star Wars. Yes, please. And this is based on the Command and Colours, the Memoir 44 system.
Yeah.
And it is a streamed down version of that. So if you played all the Memoir 44 games, you'll notice some things that are absent in this one. It's a slightly smaller map, but it does take the core mechanisms of those games and slaps on a Star Wars theme, which is more than enough to make me very, very happy. Because the system itself is so simple to play.
Yeah.
And man, that makes this game so accessible. You've got your choice of cards. What you're going to do? Well, I'll play one of those cards, and the massive number and the massive highlighted bit of the map means I can do that many things on that bit of the map. That's pretty much the explanation of it. There's enough reference cards that go on to explain what different units do, what different terrain do. And you're essentially working through a campaign. And I love the fact that they chose Hoth for the starting point of this series, because there's going to be more, isn't there? Because it is so recognizable. You do have the AT-ATs there, and it does mimic the films in lots of ways, where one lone little rebel soldier can take out the AT-ATs and bring it crumbling down to its knees to thunderous applause and 2 medals awarded for that.
If they are very
lucky with the dice rolls.
Yes.
And I think, yes, the fact that it is a simplified version of those games is, again, a selling point. It's to its merit, because it can then introduce younger players, people who don't normally play board games, to a quite complex strategic battle that can take place. You are at the mercy of your cards, of course you are, and sometimes it can make the battles feel a bit unfair, or you're just getting lots of ones actions or things you can't really take advantage of. The choice of 3 cards and being able to play 1 or 4 cards if you're playing certain people.
Yes, you do get different numbers of cards, and the most of the cards do say, as you know, just a section and then a number for you to activate. But there are some commander cards as well that you can mix and match depending on who you choose. Some people have said that they're not as powerful as they wanted, but you know, there's time. They can put more cards in at some point.
This is the starting point, and this is a license for Days of Wonder to print money. They can bring out those commanders as separate packs and have a special, have Luke actually on the board, have Darth Vader on the board. We know there's going to be more. And if they can take some of the vehicles and the inventory from this game and move it to a new place, then all the better. I'm desperate to play the mode where you combine 2 maps and you have one big massive war.
Yeah, that is the only way I think that you can play it for. It's just one scenario, and you have to have 2 sets of the game to do it. So that's why we think it qualifies as a 2-player game.
It's a 2-player game. And what a 2-player game it is.
It is. So lastly, on R5, we have been lovers of Everdell for quite some time, and this is the first time that we've actually gotten around to playing Everdell Duo. I treated myself / us to this shortly after UK Games Expo, so we've had it a couple of months, and it is a cracker.
It's really good.
It's an absolute diamond. It gives you all of that Everdell without getting that big box down. It has got competitive. It has got collaborative mode. It has got campaign mode. The little box gives you actually quite a lot of gameplay in there, and really interesting way they've managed to sort of distill everything down into a 2-player. You've still got that lovely meadow where you're going to be pulling the cards in. You're still building out your tableau. But there's some interesting nuances in terms of how things work, where you can put down another card for free, has sort of tweaked a little. You're not limited on how much you can put into your little village that you're creating as much as you were before. And you're going to be racing, I think, for those goals. Well, they seem more of an obvious race, I think, than
but in Big Everdell, it's, that's another thing that's on the tree that I could do. In this, it feels much more like the focus. I do love the fact that in this, you have the advancing sun and moon, determining which one advances depends on which action you've done, which does limit the meadow. You can then choose what's around the sun and the moon, which means you then have to work out, okay, I need to grab that when I can, because if I don't now, I might not get another opportunity to.
Yeah, and also you're going to have to be very careful in terms of what actions you're choosing to do when, because your opponent can quite easily start moving either the sun or moon on, and then once it's at the end of the track, all of that season, you're not going to be able to do that action again.
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you're both doing the one available action, and it's the end of the season. You've only done half the things you were hoping to do. So there's a very nice crunch in terms of how you choose to move what action you take when, kind of almost bluffing the opponent into
baiting them.
Yeah. You're going to play another card? Are you going to put down another position? And there's not a huge number of spaces to place down in. Sometimes those river spaces are really lovely. So there's a bit of a race to get to those.
And obviously they shift and change as you're playing through the game. For me, it feels like Everdell.
It does.
It feels like quicker Everdell, compact Everdell. It's like travel version of Everdell, speed version of Everdell. And we play Everdell at 2 players. It works fine at 2. There's certain rules in there that allow it to be quicker for 2. So it's one of those things where it's like, do we need a 2-player version of that? It's fine at 2. This is great though. Yeah.
And the thing is, I think when we play big Everdell, we often throw in an expansion or so. Yeah. Usually just one. But it's been known that we've done 2 occasionally. So we do make that a longer event game and use more of what's in this. Whereas this has another different space. It's that sort of weeknight fun, easy to table space. Whereas big box Everdell's more of a longer evening, a weekend gaming where you're going to spend a few hours. Whereas I could play this on a tired Wednesday.
I joked as we were playing it that we could probably get through a game of this, including setup, quicker than we could taking the big box off the shelf, getting all the relevant components for all the bits we want to do, and actually setting it up. We can get through a game of this in that same amount of time. I do love the co-op mode. It's great to play co-op games in a new way. So we saw that of Arnak when we played that cooperatively. We had exactly the same experiences. We knew how to play it. We both played it an equal amount. So we can combine that experience into how well can we do. We dialed up to the hardest mode and had a great, really challenging time playing it.
Yeah, and that was really fun. And we haven't quite finished the campaign element of it yet, but looking forward to seeing how well we do as things get a little trickier as it's going along. Those skunks definitely get in your way. And it's interesting that they move each round as well as you're trying to do things. So, but you're going to get some special action cards to negate that as well. I think our favourite's always going to be the competitive mode.
Yes.
But, it packs a lot of punch and adds in all that variety and extra ways to play in here as well.
So that's been 5 board games for 2 people only. Obviously, these aren't just the only 2-player games you can get. I don't think these are even our favourite 5 2-player games, but they are the 5 ones we've discovered relatively recently. Yes. So let us know in the comments down below, which have we missed? Yeah. What else has been released recently that we should have picked out for our 2-player only nights, where we are feeling just a couple, just a couple who want to play a board game together? Yeah, we'd love to hear your comments and suggestions. And of course, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, we would really love it if you would do that too. It does really help us out. And if you're interested in buying any of these 2-player games or any other 2-player games or even board games that play at more or less than 2, a good place to go is your friendly local game store. And for us in the southeast of England, that is of course Chaos Cards. But don't worry if you're not nearby, because you can go to Chaos Cards website, and if you do, there's a little description, the discount in the description, you can use to save yourself some money at the checkout. Indeed. But yeah, that's it for our 2-player ramblings today. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.